Hey everyone, welcome to episode 8 of Film Club, a weekly live stream
Ocho.
and podcast where we make a safe space for you to talk about film. And
Yeah.
this might have been one of the best weekends of entertainment that I personally have had this year.
Yeah, this weekend was crazy. We
This
had
weekend was crazy.
Sinners, WrestleMania, NBA playoffs, The Last of Us episode 2. I think there was something else I can't remember. Oh, somebody said NHL playoffs in my comments. So I was
But
like, all right. So,
brother man, brother man,
yeah,
we ain't watching no NHL in this house. But
yeah,
good for you. Good
yeah,
for
enjoy
you.
yourself. Have a good time.
Yeah.
What was it? Yeah, so yo, man, this weekend was packed full of stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
and for the most part, I was satisfied with everything that I took apart. Took participation in. I saw a little bit of the NBA playoffs. I didn't get to watch like the full games, unfortunately.
mhm.
I got to see it for all of WrestleMania. We live chatted about that in our own
Yeah, that
personal
was
group
fun.
chat.
That was a
That
good
was
time.
fun. Saw Sinners in a not packed crowd, but it was a good amount of people there. I have some stories about my theater experience there because I went to a theater I don't normally go to.
Hmm.
And yeah, The Last of Us. Whoo boy,
Yeah.
they may have jumped the shark a little bit.
Oh,
We're
word. Oh,
not.
guys, I haven't seen The Last of Us
I'm not gonna spoil it because you
season
haven't
two,
seen it,
so
but
yeah.
you know, we'll see how the people feel about it in the coming months. I think they might have pulled The Walking Dead. But we're gonna start with the title feature, the thing that's on the thumbnail, the thing that's in the title, the main title, and that's Sinners. We're gonna be having a pretty much a spoiler discussion about this film. This movie made a lot of money, so I'm hoping that everybody that watches this are have seen the film. But we're gonna be talking about why we think Sinners is more than just a vampire movie.
Yep.
The fact that it has some lazy comparisons to From Dusk Till Dawn,
Yeah. I
and
saw
everyone's saying
that
it's just From Dusk
video
Till Dawn.
from that guy.
Yeah, I saw the thumbnail. I didn't click on that shit.
Yeah.
And some other complaints I've seen about it, but mostly some of the positive stuff because both of us are we love this movie. I think Kenny likes it a little bit more than I do, but I still
Hmm.
love it. So
Yeah.
Kenny, tell me about your how you feel about that feeling you had as you walked out of the theater after seeing Sinners.
First of all, this movie, I have to say, this may be a controversial thing to say.
Oh boy.
I do not care about 6F's opinions about this movie. Um, and if you don't know what 6F's is, Google hashtag FFF FFF. Because basically, for me,
It's for black people anyway.
so like, I really don't care about the naysayers' opinions on it. But overall, like my experience with this movie is absolutely like I was blown away by this film, and for many reasons. The title of my review says it's a love letter to Black people, which I 100% like believe that was Ryan Coogler's intention, was to celebrate Black culture, celebrate Black music, celebrate like everything that we have brought to the proceedings, brought to the table, if you will, to the Thanksgiving table of the United States, right? Um,
Yeah.
and also, there's so many other layers of messages and different things that we're going to touch on and get into throughout this discussion tonight. But man, like when I left the theater, I felt elated. I haven't felt that good leaving the theater in a while. So, like, I would compare it to how I felt leaving the theater when I saw Warfare. I saw
Mm-hmm.
Warfare and I was like, yo, that's a good ass movie. This is a great movie. And it still
Great
looks great.
experience.
Oh, God, it's so good. Warfare is amazing. I walked out of Sinners being like, this might be one of the best movies I've ever seen. And I feel fulfilled as a human being. My soul feels good. walking out of this film, knowing who made it, knowing like the people who were in it. Wumi Masaku is my MVP of this film, right?
Yeah.
Uh, like there's so much good warmth coming out, and you know what? The other thing is too, Zach, seeing the response on the internets to this
Yeah.
movie. I'm not talking about the negative responses. I'm talking about
Yeah.
all like I've seen so much overwhelming positivity about this movie, and it's deserved. The people who try to take slights at it is like they're like little sprinkles. They're like little dust
Yeah.
mites
It's very, very low.
very low, because this movie started out with a 100% Rotten Tomatoes rating, which essentially means everybody who saw it recommends it. And then it dipped down to 98, which means like 2% of the people who saw it don't recommend it. But that means 98% did, right? So
Yeah.
I really, really enjoyed this film. What were your feelings coming out of the theater after you saw Sinners?
Yeah. It was one of those things where at first, I think my first initial feeling was like, that's what I waited for that second after credit scene. I was like, eh. But after that, I started thinking about it. I went with my coworker, who's also my friend. We go to Comic Con together,
Nice.
and we were talking about the film and talking about the themes, and just besides the themes of the film, because sometimes people talk about themes, but not the actual ongoings of the movie. The movie
Mhm.
was just really entertaining. I was like, I had so much fun
Yeah.
watching this movie in a way that I don't really have like fun like that watching most horror movies. Most
Hmm.
of the time, like most of it's like this is great, but it's not fun.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't say Smile 2 was fun.
Like Warfare. Warfare.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not gonna say Warfare was fun. It wasn't a fun movie, but it was a great movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, it was great and fun in a way like how Blumhouse like sea level movies are fun, but they're not. Those movies aren't good, but they're fun to watch.
Right.
This
Right. Right.
has that fun nature to it, but it's made at the highest level of class that you have, and that's
Yeah.
kind of what I was thinking about. How like wow, like this year has been slow in terms
Yep.
of like great movies. I have a
Yep.
couple movies that I think are great. Most of the movies I think are just been okay, and
Hmm.
I have like one movie that I think was bad. But
Hmm.
this came in, and I think it's starting off the summer really well. I thought that was another thing as well because it was really nice the day I went to go see it
Yeah.
on Friday. It was like 80 degrees, so it was out there
Hmm.
sweating, and I was just like I'm so proud of Coogler, who
Yep.
I'm a fan of. He's 5 for 5 for me. Michael B. Jordan, who I'm a fan of as well, who I don't think get enough credit for working as hard in his roles as he should.
Yeah.
It's hard to have that bravado in almost every role and make it believable.
Hmm.
And I was happy for Haley
Two
Steinfeld, who
times.
I'm a fan of. Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes.
No, no,
Haley Steinfeld's another actress.
I said
Huh?
2 times because he
Two
plays.
times, yeah. Two different types of bravados, too.
Yep. Yep.
Um, and then Haley Steinfeld as well. I was thinking about her in terms of like, I think she's gonna start being taken as serious as an like adult actress. I think a lot of people saw her as a kid, even though she's
Hmm.
been an adult for a while. She's about to be married.
Yeah.
Um, and there's just so many different performances in this film. We're gonna get into it though.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said at the beginning, like my MVP is Wumi Masako.
Yeah,
Her character, and this leads into like one of the things I love most about this film was the way the amount of depth and the amount of care that's given to each and every one of these characters. Wumi Masako's
yeah,
character of Annie is she's a wife of Smoke. She's a wife of Smoke, and or I don't know if they're married, but they're together, right? And essentially, she's spiritualist. She's wise. She's deeply emotional. She feels right.
yeah,
She's confident in her sexuality.
yeah,
She's also confident in who she is as a person. Whenever she sees something is going off or going wrong, she's like, hey, don't you let them motherfuckers in here. Don't you let them in here. You don't see his eyes. His eyes is glistening. His eyes is red.
glistening, not in a
Glistening.
good way.
Right, right. When the last get some Visine for that first, then come back and we can talk about it.
And then we can
Uh,
talk about jukeboxing.
right. But yeah, man, like her character is the linchpin of this film, or one of the linchpins because there's actually several. And I just loved the way that she was presented. And something that I mentioned in my review when it comes to like sexuality, because this movie is very sexual. It doesn't shy away from sexuality at all. And you know what it actually is. It's like Ryan Coogler's like, we're all adults here. This is a rated R film, so there's no reason to sugarcoat this and all this other stuff, right? And even to the point of this sounds like a regular conversation. This doesn't sound like movie sex talk. This sounds like just regular
Yeah.
sex stuff, right? But the reason I bring up like the sex and stuff like that is because Wuni Masako, who is a lot curvier than many women that you'll see,
Voluptuous.
voluptuous. I wasn't sure if that was like the best word to use, so I didn't use it in my review. I just went with curvy, but she is voluptuous indeed. Um, Also, she's freaking gorgeous. But yeah, so like you never see those body types, especially if it's someone who's the body
No.
type of a Michael B. Jordan, who's considered desirable, right? Together in an intimate scene like that. And I thought, even though it
Yeah.
was short, it wasn't super explicit or anything like that. It spoke volumes to the way that Ryan Coogler views black people and his people in general, and the human body and all that other stuff, right? It's not he has no interest in Hollywoodifying his films, right? So,
No.
or like this entire movie, and I'll let you go, as I've been talking for way too long. This entire movie is essentially like the thesis statement is this is us, deal with it. Like this is who we are. You know what I mean? So that was like I just love that part of it, and yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I agree. Like you said, I think in terms of how representation on screen for Black people, it can be a little bit monolithic in terms of how we're shown,
yep,
especially when certain body types, certain skin colors, especially when like hers, they are usually relegated to the hard ass or what's up, Anthony?
so
And yes, it was awesome. Well, it is awesome. They could be regulated to the best friend. They could be regulated to the hard ass. They're never usually the love interest or the main love interest or anything like that. So I really really appreciated that they did that, especially with somebody like Michael B. Jordan, and they had a lot of great chemistry as well. It wasn't like it was forced. But also who can't have great chemistry with Michael B. Jordan? Come on, it's Michael B. Jordan. And my MVP would be Michael B. Jordan. I think the fact that he pulled off these twin characters in a way that was so believable, that they were like so similar but different at the same time. I could always tell who was who based on the body language,
yep,
because Stack was a little bit more loose and a little bit more chaotic, and Smoke is a little bit more tense, a little bit more in control, and he performed that within his body language, because
yeah,
there's a scene in the movie where both of them are like not too far away from each other, and they're
hmm,
like enjoying music, and I'm not spoiling anything, and you can see Smoke kind of tense still, even though he wants to bop his foot, but he's kind of worried about what's going on.
right,
And Stack is just like, hey, let's get it, like, you know what I mean? He's not worried about none of that.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
there's so much pathos within his performance where you like, these are really lived in people. You
yep,
know, like there's a past there. There's so much. Like even before they started telling details about their lives, I knew there was so much just based on how they acted with each other.
hmm.
So I thought that was really really impressive. Sean Kenny, welcome to the live stream. First of
What
all,
up?
let's shout out Sean Kenny because he's been in every live stream basically since we started Film
Hey,
Club, since like the second one. So I appreciate you coming back each week and
yeah, man,
contributing to the conversation. Appreciate you, man.
yeah.
Daryl Lindo absolutely stole his scenes in my opinion. Yes,
Daryl
he
Lindo
was
is
so
amazing.
good. He
He's
was
always
amazing.
amazing. Like he's just it.
Yeah.
He's
And
just
another
it.
thing is a stereotype is the black drunk on the street.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's where the character stops, and he's just the black drunk, and he's silly, and he might be the comedic aspect of the film.
Hmm.
But what they did here was once again give him so much pathos, like a conversation that he has in the car with the guys, come back to later to something that he does at the end of the movie, and
Yeah.
it was all about people sacrificing things
Hmm.
and letting go of these desires that they had, because desire is such a big part of the movie,
Yeah.
and Daryl Orlando had a desire to drink, and
Mhm.
he sobered up real fast
Right.
because of the situation, and all these
Yeah.
different characters had different desires and things like that. But Delroy
Mhm.
Lindo embodied that so well, like he always does. He's a fantastic actor,
Yep.
and yo, Lord support, that is hilarious. Shout out to the BBWs. Yeah, I mean, love you.
You know what
Gotta
I'm
love
saying?
you some
Yeah.
BBWs. Um, yeah, I really, really appreciate Delroy Lindo and Michael B. Jordan's performances in the film because they have different aspects of what strong black men can be,
Hmm.
that also vulnerable at the same time. And even if you strip that away, even if they were white for whatever reason, they still would be just great characters, right?
Right. Right.
Them being black is not their whole character. So I really, really enjoyed both those performances.
Yeah, and one thing that is very I'm trying to find this kid's name. Oh, Miles Catton. Miles Catton was the person who plays Sammy, and Sammy's the character who, to
Preacher
me,
Boy.
is Preacher Boy, who is the linchpin of this movie, right?
Yeah.
A lot of the film centers around him and his experience. Actually, as a matter of fact, it opens up with him, right? I won't say how or why, but it opens up with him, and you basically are going. First of all, I didn't expect for this movie to take place in a day. I thought this movie was like
Yeah,
over.
me neither.
Yeah, there's actually a
Yeah.
lot of things about this movie I didn't expect. One,
Yeah.
well, let's talk about Sammy a little bit. This is Miles Catton's first role, and
Yeah.
he smoked this. I can't
He
wait
did
to
a
see
great
this
job.
kid in whatever he does next, man. Like he's so good. His voice is amazing. His ability to play that instrument, whether or not he's actually able to do that, which I don't know. But I think Ryan Cook, no
He
Ryan
learned
Coogler,
to play guitar for this movie.
he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. He was so soulful and so good in this role as the innocent like avatar through all of this, and you see all
Yeah.
these different influences, whether it's from Delroy Lindo's character, whether it's from Smoke and Stack. Each of them, like everybody in this film,
Pearline.
tries to Pearline,
Yeah.
Pearline.
Yeah, I mean, that's all we
Similar
gotta
to
say.
Mary, similar to Mary, because we're not just going to throw the dark skinned black woman in this, and not also talk about Mary. They for them
Yeah.
streets
Yeah.
is talking. So, but yeah, everybody who he comes into contact with is teaching him a lesson one way or another. Even starting with his father, who just wants him to be in the church house, right? So we
Mhm.
see this film through his eyes, and I won't come close to spoiling the ending at all. But it was interesting to it was really interesting to see where he ended up, right? That was probably one of the highlights of the film for me because I did not expect it to go there.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I would say like one of the, speaking of music and him being an instrumentalist, nope, musician, that's what they call him.
Yeah.
Uh, being, being a musician, like music is such a big part of this movie. Can you
Yeah.
speak to that a
Integral.
little bit?
Yeah, it's an integral part of the movie in a way that I feel like a lot of movies forget to do. I
Mhm.
think music is a big part of it. That's why score is rewarded, and I think that a lot of people forget to use that in films. A lot of people forget that you can do musical like things without making your movie a whole musical. And they do. Yeah, man.
And then,
Wumi was fantastic for real, and this movie, the main takeaway about it is, you talk about it's about us. I call this a FUBU movie, for us by us. But also
hey, I
the
like that.
main thing is this movie is about ownership, right?
Hmm.
And blues was ours, and we lost ownership over the years. It's kind of spread it and gone into different genres, and the essence of blues is kind of gone in today's age. We don't really have true blue artists, and a lot of the aspects of blues has been taken
Yeah.
and put into rock and R&B and all those other things, because
Hmm.
rock was made by black people, and
Yep.
all those different aspects to it. But he's talking about it and how important it is for the African American experience, because a lot of times when we talk about the importance of music and the importance of our history, it starts with the African, from Africa.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we're so separated from there now that African Americans are the kind of their own thing, and we have our
Yeah.
own culture, and blues is a
Hmm.
big part of that. And the fact that that music is so important in this film, not only just to Preacher Boy, but it's important to other characters in different ways. Smoke and Stack sees it as a way to make money, because that's all
Yep.
they're about.
Yep.
It draws other characters into situations as well.
Hmm.
I'm not even talking about the supernatural element. I'm just talking about like even Parlene. She was
Yep.
drawn to his performance and things like that, and how that the music took a life of its own, and the music literally took a life of its own. There's a section in
Yo,
this film that happens for like 10 minutes that I felt like I was floating. Right,
that
like it
scene,
was amazing.
I'm trying not to cry right now. That scene, like, I don't think I've ever felt that fulfilled watching something in my
Mhm.
entire life. Like, I was watching that scene and like, yo, we the shit for real. Like, like we are really the shit, man. Yeah, man. Like, it was something about that from the different. And I won't go into too much detail about it, but the different facets of our musical history that reflects who we are in different um, situations and eras, man. I just like uh, it was it was a really respectful, loving showcase of that. But you mentioned something that I definitely want to talk about because it actually a light bulb popped in my head. Bing! When you said that a lot of this movie is about ownership, and then when
Yeah,
you consider the news about what his deal was to make this movie, it just
yeah.
kind of all leads into one another. And if you guys don't know, so essentially, Ryan Coogler's deal to make this movie was, and let me correct me if I get any of this wrong. Instead of waiting for any kind of money on the back end after the theater run and getting a percentage after, Ryan Coogler's getting that as tickets are being sold. Like it's not like he's not waiting to hit a certain percentage. He's getting
Yeah.
his money right here, right now,
And
and
why that's
that's
important, real quick, is because
yeah. Go
most of
ahead.
the time directors have to wait till your movie hits a certain point
Yeah,
before you start seeing back end. But he's
right,
getting a back end immediately.
right. He on the front end.
And he got
Yeah,
stuff from the front too. Well, that
yep.
was a wild statement to make. Pause.
Pause.
Uh I'm so New York. He got a big lump sum from the begin, like the in the front, and then also getting each ticket sold, and it's just we don't see stuff like that. And
What's up?
Get your man.
All right.
my bad, guys. Oh my god. But real quick, the Warner Brothers executive came out and
Mhm.
talked about what you're about to go into, and saying that because of what the movie's about, he felt comfortable doing this because a lot of studio execs are trying to come out and saying this is gonna damage the industry, and the Warner Brothers exec said no, it's not, and I love
Right,
that.
right.
I love that they did that.
Yeah, and the second half of his deal is I don't know if you just said that and I missed it, but the second half
No, no.
of the deal, I think the most important part, even more important than him getting that money on the front end, is that after 25 years, he completely owns this project, which is not something I think I've ever heard being done before. Like when in 25 years from now, 2050, Ryan Coogler can do whatever the hell he wants to do with
and
this
and
movie
his estate too. It's not because let's say he passes away. It's not like
and
his
his
family
estate.
loses right over it. Whoever's alive at that time that's part of his lineage will have rights over it.
So I find that so amazing that this movie talks about ownership, and he made sure him and his lawyers, him and his team made sure that what we preaching about, we actually putting into place. Because one of the things the
Exactly.
Warner Brothers exec said was like he threatened to go somewhere else, so we wanted to, you know what I mean? So
It's not even threatened. It's someone
yeah.
offered it to him somewhere else. So he was
Oh
like,
really?
"Yeah, like I'm gonna get this deal somewhere else. I'm just letting you know because we were
Yeah,
talking that someone's
yeah,
gonna do this movie. I'm getting this movie done,
yeah, yeah.
but it's gonna be on my terms with you or somewhere." And they're like, "No, no, 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 no.
Hmm.
We want it. We want it here."
Yep.
And they just came out and said after he's done Black Panther 3, he's coming back to Warner Brothers. So now he might be building a relationship with them. So
Yeah.
that's very interesting.
And that's beautiful, man. And one would assume that all of his future dealings will be of the same ilk. Like
Yeah.
I'm going to own. So if he is someone who's going to partner with Warner Brothers for the majority of his future projects, he has all of that money, all of that equity coming to him and his family for generations,
Yeah.
and that's wild. But one
Yeah.
thing I don't want to neglect when we have this conversation about sinners is of course the vampires, right? So
Yeah.
and the way that the vampires actually play into this as well. So one of the big ways that the vampires play into this is they are knocking at the door, asking to be let in, so that they can obviously take you, bite you in the neck. This isn't spoilers because this is vampire lore, guys. So they can get you in the neck, get that, you know what I'm saying, get that hemoglobin, that good old fashioned hemoglobin.
Hemoglobin.
You might be O negative, you might be O positive, A negative, B negative. You know what I mean? Be positive. Be positive about this movie because it's dope. But yeah, so like, uh, but yeah, man, like, so the vampires represent this idea of being culture vultures, this idea of taking what isn't yours and using it because I want it, I need it. It's for me. It's for my purpose. Because they're not just making you a part of their little vampire family by biting you, but they're also getting knowledge from each and every person that they turn, which I won't go into any further. So, with that, them trying to steal your knowledge, trying to steal your IP, huh? Somebody trying to steal your IP, trying to come into your neighborhood, get invested in what you're doing, taking and profiting from it, but also looking at you and saying, "Look, hey, we do it too. We got a nice little Irish jig." You know what I'm saying? Well, first of all, let me tell you something. That Irish jig was jigging. I was in there bouncing on the Irish jig too. It's not like the music was bad. You know what I'm saying?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. I felt my 1/8 Irish tingling when that was coming on.
Someone said, and it wasn't me. Someone said that, I don't know if it was Threads or we had that conversation, that their music didn't actually get better until after they bit black people.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, that's crazy. Because, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When they first approached, they got a little bluegrass going on. And I was like,
it was a little shaky.
It was like,
It was a little shaky.
I don't know if you invited. I don't know if you invited. Also, stop inviting people to the cookout. I don't know if you invite up in
That's
here.
the main thing of this movie. Stop inviting people to the cookout.
Ain't nobody coming to the cookout. But yeah, so the vampires, man, and also the vampires are just dope in general because they follow vampire lore. Ryan Coogler didn't have to twist anything or change anything in order to make these vampires fit his narrative.
I piggyback off that too?
Go for it.
The fact that a lot of films are using supernatural creatures and don't want to name them. They want to like give like a grounded name to it, or they want to recognize the silly aspects of it, like werewolves, turning during the full moon and the silver bullet hurting it and all these different things. They don't want to and Ryan Coogler took all the things that we know about vampires, almost all, not every single aspect of it. Like we didn't see him look in a mirror or nothing, and they weren't there or whatever, right? Like that aspect is not in the film because they ain't really had no. Umar Kenny preaching. I'm weak.
My God!
But the aspects that he did take, I absolutely loved.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
That's hilarious.
I don't know if you said that because I'm from Philly, but it is funny as hell. But anyway,
Umar's from Philly.
Yeah, he's from the exact neighborhood that I live in right now.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's funny. I thought I added the clip of Umar in here, but apparently I did not. But anyway, yeah, man. So the vampires are dope, and one of the things I thought was really interesting. I talked to you guys earlier, where I said earlier about how there were certain parts of this movie that surprised me that I was not expecting. One of the things I wasn't expecting about this movie is the way it was structured, how it built itself to that vampire confrontation. Because what I was expecting, like watching the trailers and almost every other vampire movie I've seen, where it's like people versus vampires, it's like the action kind of starts close to the beginning. Like there's not a lot of like mystery of what's going on. We know we're fighting vampires. It's a Buffy the Vampire. We stabbing vampire niggas. You know what I'm saying?
And let's talk about who was chasing these vampires too. The Native Americans. I love that.
Yeah,
man, hey, that was so dope.
We told y'all. Someone actually pointed out that once they saw a clan garb, they were like, you know what, y'all got it.
Because the guy that
Yeah.
was answering the door was trying, and I
Mhm.
think the back there they saw it. It was like, man, if we don't get the sun is coming down, that's
Yeah,
on them.
we not risking our lives for the clan.
Like, Clint,
For the clan? No, we ain't risking our lives for the clan. But yeah, like one of the more interesting things is the way that this movie builds. It starts off essentially as if there were no vampires involved in this movie whatsoever, this movie would be about building a community and starting a juke joint with money from money and talents from people who are in the surrounding area, and how each of these individual people have gone through pain and also triumph and are trying to make themselves. And
yeah,
then vampires come, right? So like this movie builds to that and doesn't just become this action set piece. But when it does, it
turns
delivers.
out.
Yeah,
And
it
Sean
turns
Kenny's also said he's intrigued about how Sinners would function as if the movie didn't have vampires and was just twin brothers mafia movie focused on the blues bar. Like this movie could have just been a Goodfellas esque
yeah,
film about two brothers who are coming with dirty money, running from their past,
yep,
trying to uplift their community, but not fully gain their trust because of their past and all
right,
those struggles, while also having the Ku Klux Klan in it. Like,
yeah,
if you would have just had all that, especially where the movie kind of climaxes,
yeah.
this could have been still a great classic film if it the way it executed.
Yo,
But
yeah,
adding the vampires was making it like a next level.
it was fun. And yo, literally, if you remove the vampires, the way that the film concludes with a certain contingent of people coming back around, that's a
Yeah.
movie in itself. And some people online, I was seeing on threads, they said it's like Idlewild with vampires. Now, I've never seen Idlewild. It's an
Mm.
Outcast movie, but it looks similar from the aesthetic that I've seen. So I'm interested in actually watching that movie. But yeah, man, like that in and of itself, the structure of it is where it's really strong. And then we get to the final act, not the final scene with Michael B. Jordan versus a contingent of folks who come through and come through. Ryan Coogler did in that moment because all of that was dope. I was like, yeah, get them niggas. Like I was in there. You know what I'm saying? We was in the theater like, yo, that shot in the trailer with Ryan Coogler taking the grenade and just
You mean Michael B.
bro,
Jordan?
what did I say?
Ryan Coogler.
Oh, my bad.
Don't make
Michael
these
B.
people
Jordan.
think Ryan Coogler's in the movie.
Yo, that would be hilarious. Yo, it would actually be hilarious because Ryan Coogler cannot code switch. He sounds like a man from the West Coast, West Coast. So
All
if
the time.
anybody would not fit necessarily in this movie, it would actually be Ryan Coogler
Yeah,
just because of his accent.
1000%.
Yeah, but yeah, man, this movie. I
But
mean,
yeah, let's talk about it from Ruth Carter with the costume design. She did Black Panther. She's done other amazing costume
yeah,
design. She did great again. I don't
yeah.
know the cinematographer's name, but the movie was gorgeous to look at as well.
Uh, I had her name because I've mentioned her in my review. I'll look it up while you speak.
Yeah, and then Luca Gorson is on a legendary run right now
This
of
dude
scores.
is fire.
He's one of the best of the modern age. If he keeps going on this way, he's gonna be one of the best of all time, joining some of like Hans Zimmer and things like that. So like in terms of the talent brought to this film, it's just top tier all the way down. Like Ryan Coogler has such a confident grasp on how he wants the movie to look, feel, the
Hmm.
symbolism, the funny parts of the film, because yeah, it's a serious movie, but the movie is funny as
It
well.
is funny.
And it's highly entertaining because the first half of the film is not really any vampire stuff. It's just focusing on this family, kind of like how Kenny and Sean were talking about. And it was that part was so good and engaging, and just
Hmm.
seeing them reconnect with their loved ones,
Yeah,
that I forgot that there was a supernatural aspect to it. So
yeah,
then when the vampires do show up, I'm like, oh yeah. And then I went, oh no, because I fell in
right,
love with these characters.
right.
So usually when vampires show up, I'm like, yeah, tear these stupid idiots apart.
Yep.
But he got me so invested in these characters. I was like, no, leave everyone alone. Preacher Boy's having a good old time. He's pressing that button, if you know what I mean.
That boy was growing up before his own eyes. You know what I'm talking about? He was pressing that button.
He pressed that button and almost got shot too.
Yeah.
Well, another thing I want to say is that this is the first horror movie ever to get a cinema score. And I think that Ryan Coogler did something smart here because it is a horror movie, but it's not a horror movie. Like, it's not scary. It's not. There's like maybe some gore, but it's not. He eloquently did the scare parts of it, right?
You know what it is? It's like, would you call Blade a horror movie?
Yeah, no,
really. It just has vampires in it.
Yeah, pretty much. If you have vampires in, they automatically think it's horror. But there is like frightening aspects of it, but it's not scary, if that makes sense. And then like even the sexual parts of it was done in a mostly tasteful way. I think a lesser director would have been like, I gotta show the titties. I gotta show. I gotta show this person get his.
I want that clip. I want that clip. I need some blackmail on you, so.
Got you some blackmail on you. No, but yeah, like I said, he did it in a very classy way that still showcased the point, and I thought that was really dope. There was gore. I personally would have loved a little bit more violence, but I'm okay with what we got. The sexual aspect of it was done just right. It wasn't too much. My friend elbowed me and was just like, "Hey Zach, what?" Because she didn't know anything about the movie. She didn't see the trailer. She just know Michael B. Jordan was playing twins. That's all she knew. So she was like, "Hey Zach, what is cool?" Yeah,
that's a wild way to walk into this movie.
The only reason she came is because I was like, "Damn, I want to go see Sinners." But if you've been on my channel a long time, you know this name Clay. He usually goes to movies with me, but he doesn't like scary movies, so he never goes horror movies with me. So I was saying that, she was like, "Oh, I'll go," and I was like, "Oh, perfect." But she didn't know. She was just like, "I want to go and hang out with you." She didn't know what she was getting herself into. So when Michael Jordan and Woomy was doing things, she was like, "Whoa, Zach!" And I was like, "I'm sorry." So before we move on, I just want to talk about two things that happened to me in the theater that was hilarious. So the light, all the trailers are done. Stitch is on the ride going towards the screen because that's what Regal does. It pops to the screen, the lights are going off, and these three stupid mother lovers decided to now come in the movie theater and trying to find their seats and have their flashlight from their phone on trying to find which seat they're supposed to be in, which pissed me off because in the row that they were in, it wasn't even that many people. Just sit down. And so two of the friends sit down, and then he's looking around. He goes, and he's tall. He's like 6 feet tall, so he's like in the screen, and he's just like, "Man, it's dark in here." Sir, I know you're not watching this right now, but just in case you are, suck a whole penis, man. You really suck. But yeah, who goes into a movie theater right when the movie is about to start and goes, "It's really dark in here," and then the lady behind us was just like, "Oh, he's playing twins?" I was like, "Okay. All right. She was like Regina Hall in Scary Movie. The way she was reacting to everything. I was like, Jesus Christ. Well, that's what the audience that I had watching this movie in a theater I don't normally go to because my theater sold out before I could get tickets.
Yo, did you see it? So I've been seeing about this movie selling out all over the place. And one of the things I saw somebody actually post a picture on Threads today of, it was like it's Tuesday night showing tonight. And there's only 5 seats available in the very front row.
Yeah.
Of the theater. And this was actually the 70 millimeter theater.
Nice.
Yeah, so I wish there's none in Pennsylvania. I think I saw just a blurb about it. It's really only in 6 cities that they're doing the 70 millimeter thing, and Philadelphia is not one of them, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But
I really want to see those too.
Yeah.
Like Perp might have said, but I'm not going to New York. What you got? We got beef with New York for, man. What's wrong with you? Cuz
yeah, that's a trip I'm not willing to take, unfortunately.
Yeah, I feel you.
He actually asked me, are you going to go see this again? Because I want to, but life be lifing.
That's the main thing. Life be lifing. We have several movies coming out this week.
Do we?
I could have went to go see Thunderbolts today, but I decided to do this live stream.
What? Bro, I would have understood. I would have.
Now I know. I appreciate you telling me that. We could have
Yeah.
pushed it.
No,
But
after this live stream, go see Thunderbolt.
I said F this last stream.
Which is funny because
But
actually
yeah,
last Monday, I think it was last Monday, I had the opportunity to go see Sinners. I could have saw it like before everybody else, but I think it was a movie that was coming out. Oh, I think it was. Well, I'm actually glad I didn't. Well, we felt differently about the movie, but Opus had came out on a Tuesday. I was going to be able to see that. I'm glad I didn't skip this live stream for it. I know we felt differently about it, but yeah, I would have been upset. But yeah,
oh yeah, because you do not like that movie. Pert minded. What about Dolby? Why did you prefer that version? Let me know. There's a 7 million IMAX theater in Indiana. I'm tempted to make the trip. 3.5 hours.
Woo! That's the. How long? This movie's only 2 hours, right?
2 hours and 25 minutes, I think, or something like that.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm going to throw some criticisms I heard about the film, and I want you to tell me what you think about that, right? Like, because we talked about how it's more than a vampire film. Half the movie doesn't even have vampires in it. You understand why we feel that way and how much we love it. I think we tackled most of the aspects. One thing I heard, and I heard from multiple people saying the pacing of the film is off. It takes too long to get to the goods. Because the trailer really focused on there's a supernatural element to it and they're stuck in this one spot and people didn't expect it to be so much about their life. How do you feel about that statement?
I think
it's for black people anyway.
Like for me, it's like I too felt like not the pacing, but I too expected, like we just talked about, for me to walk into a traditional vampire movie. I don't know why I was thinking we were going to walk into a traditional anything with Ryan Coogler. Walk into a traditional vampire movie where we get in and we fighting, and it's, you know what I mean, it's 1940s and I remember when this movie was first announced, and it was announced to be coming out, and it was like the 1940s set in Jim Crow. I was like, oh my god, we always got
me too. I was so mad.
Yeah,
I was like, oh no,
boy, was I wrong. But yeah, like I think for me, Ryan Coogler I think for me, I was so invested in these characters that there are times I forgot that there were even vampires in this movie, right?
Yeah.
So, or going to be in this movie, right? It was in the back of my mind, but I was so invested in who these people were. I know they talk about, oh, it's you know, they spend so much time in building the people, but like you said, the reason why we care when the vampires actually get attacked and get them in a terrible situation, the reason why I care is because I know these people now. Like, I feel like I have a deep, intimate knowledge of each and every one of these characters.
Of the main characters, yeah.
They matter to me now, right? Yeah. So the slow pacing in the beginning, and also it's like, this isn't. How do I? I'm not even sure how to say this. Like, it's not offensive. I'm just trying to find my words. This is like a. I keep wanting to say this is like a film, right? Not like a.
Or like a traditional old school film where it takes its time.
Yeah, like a C movie, like a C level movie, which are fun, right? It's not. This isn't Minecraft. You know what I mean? Whereas, just jump into the thing and let's do it.
It's not TikTok brain movie. Like, right. Minecraft's a TikTok brain movie.
And I have fun with Minecraft. So
me too.
Do that. You know what I mean? It's just more so like this is like me walking into a Nolan movie, a Spielberg movie, a whatever movie where I'm expecting to be here for a minute, right?
Yeah.
You sold me on the dinosaurs, but I'm expecting to get to know these characters for a minute. You know what I mean?
Before something happens to them.
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of people are lazily comparing it to From Dusk Till Dawn, saying it's the same exact movie, which is not. But even that film, it took a while before we got into the vampire stuff. We didn't know. Honestly, we didn't know it was a vampire movie going in. A lot of people watched that movie thinking it was just.
I do know of it, but I've never seen it.
Yeah, people thought it was just Clooney and Tarantino being bank robbers and they trying to get away, and they end up in this club. We didn't know there was no sign of vampire in the trailer. So when you watch the movie and the vampire show, you're like, whoa! Because you're already invested in these bank robbers and them getting away and seeing how they're going to get away from the cops. They spent time on all that. And then the vampires came. That movie's a little shorter than this one, but it's not as grand and it's not as expensive. So that's
Right.
why, you know.
Yeah.
So
Also,
it's
the
just
movie's
weird that
trying to.
people are like,
Yeah.
oh, you know, they don't make movies like they used to anymore, and meh, 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 meh. But then they're
They
like,
forget.
oh, the pacing
Yeah.
is slow. It's like, yeah, did you watch Godfather? Like that
Right.
movie's not fast.
Not at all. Neither is Shawshank Redemption. Neither is what's the film with Jack Nicholson and he goes crazy in a house writing a story. I forget the name of it. But
For one cuckoo,
no.
one no. Oh,
The Shining.
Shining.
The Shining. Neither is The Shining. It takes a minute for that blood to come down that hallway, right?
Yeah,
So like all these types of movies, all the most of the good classic movies that we talk about take a minute to get to where we're going, right?
yeah.
Not always, but they do take a minute, right? So
Most of the time, yeah, they're building up worlds, setting up characters, getting you
yeah,
invested in their journey. A lot of
yeah,
time, there's like a mission, but the mission is not the actual point of the movie. But it helps you go, oh no, it ruined this for these people.
right.
Just like the whole first half is them opening this juke joint, but that's not the
Yeah,
main part of the movie.
that's not the point of the
It's
movie,
but the
right?
vampires ruin it. So it's like, damn, you get mad because you understand the investment
Yeah,
that these characters just made
yeah,
emotionally and physically in getting this done.
yeah.
Before I ask you my next question,
Hmm.
I just want to read some of these comments real quick.
Let's go.
Let's see, just overall. Okay, so you're saying that the Dolby had overall better picture quality and sounded better over the
Hmm.
IMAX. That's interesting.
I've heard people
Uh,
say that like interchangeably about the Dolby be better than IMAX. So that's not actually the first time I've heard that.
Gotcha. Yeah, I would say the pacing, if it would have gotten the rundown to 2 hours flat, it would be perfect. Vampire aspect didn't work for me as much. Okay,
Okay.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet, so I can't vote. You need to go see it, collector movie man. I know it's not one of your 15 most anticipated movies, but it's worth the theater trip.
Hmm.
I had no problem with the pacing. To me, the first half is all build up for the characters to get you care about for them for offing them all off. I can
Yeah.
understand the frustration though. I can understand the frustration for
Hmm.
people who expected something maybe shorter. When
Yeah.
you think it's a one location vampire movie and it's not that for an hour, I can understand
Hmm.
that.
Also, like I said before, I did not expect this movie to take place in a single day.
Me neither.
I think that was my biggest surprise of this entire movie.
That was very, very impressive.
Yeah.
Everyone needs to watch. Everyone needs to watch the Dusted Dog just for yo. When I tell you,
Mm.
Salma Hayek in that movie
Hmm.
awakened something in me. I don't know
Oh,
exactly what
okay.
it was, but it awakened something, and I liked it a lot until she did something else and it scared the shit out of me. But yeah.
You're just a freak.
Wait for it. One slight negative thing I saw a few folks say about the film is the lack of straightforwardness. Huh?
What was
Interesting.
it?
Can you expound upon that, TJ, about
Yeah.
like what they're saying about straightforwardness? Like, what was it straightforward about the film? Because this is not an A24 film where it's covered in. It's not I just saw the TV glow where I gotta go read an excerpt to figure out what the fuck the movie's about.
What's interesting is like I almost like can compare this movie to a Get Out type of situation where
Mm.
like if you're watching Get Out and you're black and you're aware of the types of tropes and different things that are said,
Societal things, yeah.
societal things, like, and you're looking at Get Out through a black lens, you're like, oh, mm,
Yeah.
hmm and that's why, like, very similarly in Sinners, I'm looking, like, oh, yeah, oh, he trying to get in and get that mental IP, like, it's like all that stuff is like
It's for black people anyway.
right. So it's like it's very I can pick that up. So if you're saying like it lacks straightforwardness, I'm not saying that this is what that person's saying because I actually have no idea. But for me, it's straightforward because I know the history. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, not every movie has to be, it can make you think. Because the thing is, Sinners is also fun. So it's
Yeah.
not like it's this
Oh,
dreary,
me too.
taking yourself seriously,
Yep.
movie that is like, oh, you gotta really think and contemplate and like, it's not doing that. It's fun, but it's also stuff that you need to. There's symbolism and stuff that we're not talking about. We're not talking about the Chinese migration and how they were integral to the story here and
Yeah.
our history with them and how we work together. We're not talking about how the fact that the main vampire was Irish and how significant that is because Irish people were not seen as white for a long time, and it added nuance to this antagonist villain that made me like go, okay, but like he was doing the thing to the black people that was done to him, kind of like passing down that trauma in
Yeah.
a way, which I find very interesting.
Yeah.
It was a lot going on there that we didn't even talk about. But if you don't know history about people that's not like you, you're gonna miss it. You're gonna miss it.
One of the most annoying things about being a black human being in this country is being able to grow up in this country, know about my history, black history, know about American history, which is also my history because I'm American, and
Yeah.
all the white pioneers and what they've done and all this other stuff, the George Washingtons, all these people who were taught about in history class, and knowing all about them and knowing my people's history who are predominantly American. I'm about to say American made, but I'm thinking about the wrestling group. Are predominantly from the United States because we've been here for a minute, right? I know the history of my people and their people, but when you talk to certain white people and you talk to certain people, it's like, oh, I never knew that about black people. Wait, teach me about like, and my thing has always been like, how is it that you don't? We've been here as long as you've been here, but you don't know anything about us. How is that possible? Like
That's the school system.
you brought us here against our will, and you don't know anything about us. Now, I'm not even talking about from a historical African perspective. I'm talking about Sue down the street had no idea that,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, that's one of the most annoying things in just growing up black and being aware of the Seinfelds and all the classic white TV shows and stuff like that, and then people not knowing shit about us. It's like, yo,
Martin, Fresh Prince,
right.
all the amazing comedies and stuff that we have. They're like, oh yeah, these are the like, whoa, all just white? No. Like, let's get some of our stuff in there too.
Not to mention that a lot of that shit is stolen from us. Friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Friends was literally living single. They lifted that shit and then made millions, billions of dollars. I don't know about billions. Billions
to this day. I'm pretty sure that's $1 billion franchise. At this point, I'm sure it is.
From a stolen idea. How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
TJ Miller says, so I guess a select few individual people didn't understand the point of the vampires and they felt the story was random. Interesting. I felt like the story was very intricate in the way it was structured and put together. So I'm not too sure how they could have felt they didn't understand the vampires unless they don't know about culture vultures or oppression, and they just not now like they didn't get like they talked about it in the film. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
This is why we got to enforce mandatory IQ tests, because when you meet it wasn't straightforward. Oh my god, that is pretty funny.
Who are these niggas?
I cried laughing when I read it.
You know what I'm saying? like, we need to stay away from these niggas.
That's hilarious. The last criticism that I heard recently that I knew this is gonna be a quick one because I know how we both feel about this performance, but someone was saying in the review about Michael B. Jordan, they feel like he never loses himself in his characters. There's always a sense of like he is playing a character and that he's not the character. What's your thoughts on that? Did you mute yourself?
No, I'm like, I don't even know what to say to that. So he never loses himself in his characters. There's always a piece of him in those characters, right?
Just like he's playing like, for example, I'll say like sometimes Christian Bale feels like he loses himself in the character, and you don't see Christian Bale anymore. I feel like she's saying like it still feels like it's Michael B. Jordan, Mr. Bravado, I'm handsome movie star guy, but a different job and clothes. Kind of that thing where he doesn't fully lose himself. Where you're like, that's not Michael B. Jordan, because there's certain actors that do that.
You wanted him to be ugly, like you want him to be like, oh nigga, I'm ugly now. Like I don't like. I do sometimes feel like Michael B. Jordan doesn't always have the best line delivery. That is a thing for me, even admittedly in Black Panther. There were certain times I was like, stop it. But for the most part, like I didn't see that here. I thought he did a phenomenal job in this film, especially because he's from the East Coast. You know what I mean? He's from the East Coast. He's going to sound the way he sounds, and also like what? Who in this movie lost themselves? I mean, I guess you could say Delroy Lindo, maybe,
Yeah.
but Delroy Lindo is one of the greatest actors of all time. I don't think I've seen anybody say Michael B. Jordan's one of the greatest actors of all time. He's very, very good. He's incredible very in this film. As a matter of fact, I saw somebody on Threads like, yeah, he should get 2 Best Supporting Actor nominations. And I'm like, no, this nigga should get 2 Best Acting nominations because he's playing 2 very distinctly different characters. Call them twins because they are. But this is Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso 2025. They are very different people. You can tell. So, yeah, I don't even know what to say to that, to be honest with you.
Gotcha.
What comes to mind?
I think there might be a little bit of truth to it in terms of like I don't think he ever like fully loses himself in any of his characters. There's always feels like a little bit of Michael B. Jordan. Like I know that's Michael B. Jordan, but at the same time, he's so phenomenal as Killmonger. He's so phenomenal as these 2 guys. Like I'll say this is the first time where I was like, this is Smoke and Stack. This is not Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
He played the character. I said it before. I said it in my own personal review with so much like lived in nature of it. Like he lived into the characters, and I think him becoming a director has helped him learn how to do that. Because Ryan Coogler said he was able to just leave Michael B. Jordan with his his double, and direct those scenes, so he could worry about all the other logistical stuff that the director has to. Because he's like, I know you know how to get this done, and I think that helped him craft this from the ground up, because he said he did a lot of research, and I don't know if he's had to do that kind of research before. Like he had to consult with twins, he had to consult with somebody with accents, he had to consult somebody with the mannerisms of people from this area. Like he had to consult and get all that information and build these people from the ground up and not adapt something. So I think this is his best performance he's had. I think this is the closest that we've had to him kind of losing himself in a character. And I would understand that complaint in other movies that he's probably had, because there are actors who just play the same kind of thing as just them with different jobs, and then there's some actors who absolutely lose themselves in the role. But I think that here is the first time where I was like, he did it. He did it. Because I always saw the potential, but he finally showcased it fully in this movie.
Yeah, he is phenomenal in this film. We get. Looks like we got some comments.
Yeah, we got some comments. Let's get through them.
People saying hi to each other. We love to see it. Did I miss? Okay, yeah. I'm telling you right now, I like In Living Color a hell of a lot more than I like Friends. I used to like Friends, but the older I get, the more I don't. But I still like In Living Color, and I watch it. Dope. Hey, Nanette. Hey.
Yeah, word.
Good to see you, Nanette.
The homie.
C Money said, I think that's okay if the movie is good. It's good.
It's good.
I agree. Yeah. The movie is very, very good.
Very good.
Watching Living Color growing up. Got you. Yeah, not everybody loses themselves in a role. It's great if they do, but it didn't change how much I enjoyed this movie. I totally 100% agree. I was thinking about like Denzel, Christopher Walken, Robert De Niro. They are who they are, right? Like, if you want somebody to lose themselves in a role, get like Paul Giamatti or somebody like that, who's also amazing. But he loses himself in roles. But also you do know it's Paul Giamatti. Yeah, and like I'm trying to think like who.
Christian Bale is like my main one that I like. I think
Christian Bale for sure. Yeah, Yeah, I guess you could say Colin Farrell because of the way he played Penguin.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, like there are actors who do that, but it's not always necessary all the time. You just need to play the role that you play. Sometimes you're hired to be yourself
Yeah.
in certain films, right? John Malkovich was in Opus, right? John Malkovich is John Malkovich is John
Yeah.
Malkovich, right? So that's who you're going to get.
Agreed.
I haven't voted. I could say I like this movie. I haven't voted. I could say I like this movie. I think I will like Sinners, but I haven't seen it, and it's going to be next month before I can see it. Hey, when you do see it, let us know how
Yeah.
you feel about it.
Yeah. That's all that matters. I want you to get a chance to go see it,
Yep,
especially as a horror fan. I think that you definitely should go check it out.
for sure. Can we put a poll in our Johnny John
Yeah.
stream saying what is the best Michael B. Jordan? Not Michael B. Jordan. What is the best Ryan Coogler movie? Do you? He's made five. The one I typically leave out is Wakanda Forever. Typically, only because there's only four slots, not because I don't think the movie's good. Because I
Yeah.
think the movie's really good. But yeah, you have Fruitvale Station, you have Creed, you have Black Panther, the first one, and you have Sinners now. He's only made five movies, which seems crazy because it feels like he's been around forever.
For a long
It's-
time. Yeah.
yeah,
But you know what? It's because he's made such a big impact with so many movies, with each movie.
similar to Jordan Peele. He only has three movies under his belt.
Yeah. And he's
But
made such an impact.
yeah, yep.
They're not saying hi to us. Appreciate
Hey,
you. You don't have to lose yourself in a role to deliver a great performance. I agree.
yeah,
Most movie stars are don't lose themselves and stuff. I think the only movie star that does both is Leonardo DiCaprio. Like Leonardo DiCaprio can
yeah,
lose himself in a role, but he also can do the I'm Leonardo DiCaprio, and that's what you come here to watch.
yep,
I would love to be paid to be myself in a movie. She
yeah,
facts. I'm not
absolutely.
sure if it's always a good thing if you lose yourself in a character. I keep thinking about this person that was in a film. They lost their self in the movie, and it made them very depressed. Oh yeah, Heath Ledger as a Joker. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
There's a
It's
weird
it's
thing
a
where
it can be a dangerous thing. Method
there's a
acting.
weird, there's a weird thing where Jack Nicholson, like there was this thing about Jack Nicholson warning Heath Ledger about losing himself in that role because that sounds insane to me. Like the
Because he
Joker,
did it for Joker. Like Jack
yeah,
Nicholson did it for '89, and he remembers the effects that it had on him, and he was warning him like, "Don't. I know what it did to me. It messed me up for years. Don't do it." And he still did it anyway.
that's crazy. To think that that role is just that because the Joker's crazy, right? So,
Yeah,
and he's not
Agent of
like your
Chaos.
traditional crazy, like, oh, I'm just jealous of all these people. He really don't give a fuck, and
He's a
that's
sociopath
yeah,
and a psychopath.
it's crazy. Yeah. So no. Oh, uh, God, what's the actor's name? John McAvoy.
James
What's it?
McAvoy.
James McAvoy. He loses himself in characters.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
He
he's
does.
great. At
Because you see, even Speak No Evil. Like, if you look at that version of him versus Charles Xavier, completely different people.
Matter of fact, Split. Split.
Yeah.
He's like eight different niggas, and Split
Yeah.
is, and he's incredible in that movie. That movie's awesome.
The fact that he didn't get nominated for an award for that
I
performance is
don't
another thing.
understand
It's
how
another
that
thing.
happens. Yeah. But yeah, y'all. Let us know what your thoughts are on Sinners. We don't have to stop the conversation here. If you have any questions, you have any like thoughts about the movie, anything, any specific highlights of the movie, we definitely want to keep talking about it. There is so much to talk about with this film, but I think for us, we might have exhausted kind of the specific subject matter that we're touching on here. But
Yeah.
yeah, we have a conversation about one last thing. I think that's Fantastic Four,
Yeah.
and how we feel about that movie after seeing the most recent trailer. And I
Yeah.
think we're also leading into a discussion about Superman, Negro of Tomorrow. No, that's next year. Superman. No, it's just called Superman. That's right.
Yeah, just call Superman now.
Yeah. What was the original title? It was like Superman
Superman Legacy.
Legacy. Yeah. I need to read that book, not for the movie, but just in general.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Steps trailer.
hmm
Okay. Start off. Tell me how you feel about this trailer, man.
so yeah, man. So I watched this trailer of Fantastic Four first. Well, first of all, I enjoyed it. Like, I'm really looking forward to this movie. I really am enjoying like the whimsy of the Fantastic Four and how it looks like it's really leaning into who we know the Fantastic Four to be. You got Herbie there. The Thing really feels like a lived-in thing. He's uh, hanging out with the kids more than likely on Yancey Street. Like I really think like this movie is going to do the Fantastic Four justice, which is a really funny thing to say about comic book characters because there's so many different variations of it that doing them justice is a very like what do you call it? Opinionated thing. Like it's a very like it depends on what era of Fantastic Four or whatever comic book character you're talking about you're dealing with. But I really enjoy it. I thought it was interesting to reveal the fact that Sue's having a baby. But
Yeah.
at the same time, like you gave us the motivation for the film, for the characters. And I think that's interesting, but that's something that typically isn't revealed until you get to the movie.
Yeah.
So I did find that to be particularly interesting. That's not a complaint. I'm saying it's interesting that they decided to do that.
And I'm excited. I'm excited to see if it's Franklin or it's their other daughter. Which one
Their
they
daughter,
choose
yeah.
for him to have first? It should be Franklin because he's supposed to be the oldest one.
Yeah.
But they might switch it up, like they're switching up a couple things in this particular universe. So just my initial thoughts. Just talking about the fact that this movie is in its own universe, separate from the 616 MCU. Which I hate that I have to say that because the 616 should be the comics, Kevin Feige.
Yeah. You actually don't have to say that because Miss Marvel gave us permission to say no.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kamala.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I like that it's its own pocket universe. I like that it's taking advantage of the old timey retro futuristic world it's in. I think it's in the 1950s. I think this movie is supposed to be in, but it's like it's a different universe where like I think the aesthetic of the 50s stayed, but the futurism came with like it's not in the 50s. But it's futuristic. I don't know if I'm explaining that correctly.
It's giving Jetsons is what it's.
Yeah, exactly. I like that they're doing that because I think that's where the Fantastic Four thrives. That's kind of where they were birthed as the first family and everything like that. And what I like about the aesthetic and the way it looks versus something like Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel was in the 90s, but I don't think they used the aesthetic of the 90s to the full potential that it could, other than like graphic tees and maybe a reference to like Blockbuster. I think they could have really went deeper into that, and I like that they're utilizing that setting to the fullest. I think that out of the four of them, I think that Johnny Storm stood out the most to me. I think that Reed and Sue didn't stand out as much just yet. And the Thing, I'm not 100%. I like the performance. I like the way he looks. Everybody's calling him Thing with the Riz because his clothes be looking kind of trippy.
He can dress.
He can dress.
Ben Grimm could dress a little bit.
And that's always been the thing. That's comic lore accurate. Ben Grimm can dress.
He had that trench coat. He put that fedora on. He got that shit on.
But I'm not. I like the actors playing him, but I'm not too in love with the voice. I like Ben Grimm to have a little bit of more of a gravelly voice because I just think that it just fits the character. Like when I read the character, that's how I read it. I don't read him with a regular human voice. I'm not saying that he has to like, but I wish it was a little bit more huff to it.
I just find it funny that you want the rock creature to have a gravelly voice.
That's something that they do. That's what they do in the comics.
I'm not criticizing that. I'm just saying like it's just ironic that that's how we describe that type of voice.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I feel you on that. Like I think the voice is fine. I would say I've gotten used to it. I do like the amount of personality that they've injected into the thing. It almost seems like him, which is kind of what it is like in the comics and in every iteration. Sting and Johnny Storm have the most personality.
Yeah.
And that seems to be true here. Even with things like cooking with Herbie, like I'm like, that's really dope because it gives depth to characters when they have that kind of like when they have a skill set, when they have like
They do normal things outside of being a superhero.
yeah, like things saying like even from like the teaser, like yeah, I'm gonna throw a little bit more cloves of garlic in there, like that gives you like that kind of like personality and stuff like that. And similarly, I was actually just watching Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 yesterday for a podcast. I was or a podcast episode I was asked to be a part of, and with Rocket even like asking for the one of the people in the prison's legs because he thought it was funny. Like those are the kind of things that make characters more than one note, right? Rocket could easily be just I'm just a badass with a big ass gun, but no, he's
much more
terrible sense of humor. But
and you have to do that with CGI characters to kind of like make them tangible to the audience. So it's not just like this weird CGI thing. The people love what's the one from Thor with Taika Waititi voices.
Korg.
Yeah, people love Korg because he sounds funny and he's funny.
Yeah,
you know, and it's just
funny. Yeah,
he's really, really funny. It's just like that's somebody I would like to hang out with, despite him looking like a rock.
Right.
I would. Now that I said that, I would actually like him and the Thing meet each other because they kind of look alike. I didn't even think of that, but I want that now. The dynamic amongst the team, I see it. I like it so far.
Yeah.
They look like they have chemistry. What was I was gonna make a point real quick and I don't remember, but continue. I interrupted you.
Pregnancy announcement, like it was like you're late.
Yes.
Like that whole bit of banter, I thought that was really good.
That's what it was. The MCU has been missing the stuff you're talking about. I think specifically in movies, watching characters just live out their normal life before they get into the superhero shit, and kind of like the superhero shit is interrupting their normal life. I think that's what made the characters more relatable because we get that. Like, we're trying to live our lives, we're trying to do fun things, we're trying to do creative things, but you have to go to work, or you have an emergency, or you have this, or you have some greater thing that you have to focus on.
Even Tony coming back after being kidnapped in the first movie, me like, I want a cheeseburger. Like, I just want like those kind of like character things that actually make them like who they are, right? So I think that they've put a lot of work into making these characters well-rounded. It seems we haven't seen the movie, obviously,
So
but
far.
it seems that way. I find it interesting. Like, this is going to sound like a comic book nerd complaint, but I'm just wondering, right? It's just a wonder.
Did you just freeze yourself?
Yeah, no.
I was like, did he freeze? That was pretty good.
Galactus is fitting inside of Earth, and it's bugging me a little bit. Not because it can't happen. It's like he's supposed to be taller than all of this shit. So maybe like I'm sure there are times where Galactus has shrunk down to like be on Earth.
That's exactly what I think it is.
Comic books, but yeah, I'm used to seeing Galactus like holding a planet on the palm of his hand. Maybe shows up like that and it's like, look, Silver Surfer, you're not getting it done. I gotta come down here and kick some shit. Right? Yeah. So
yeah.
But that's not a complaint. It's just like, that's interesting. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember like Galactus shrinking and getting bigger throughout, especially if he's getting tired. He can't maintain that size, especially if he hasn't eaten a planet in a while, so he will shrink. So it might be, it might be that situation where it's like, okay, he's coming to eat Earth, he hasn't been over here yet. Maybe it was a long travel,
right?
And TJ's like, the freeze. Yeah, that shit was funny. I was like, what's happening? Did he freeze? Because our stream freezes sometimes. Internet be wonky, so I thought you were about to get kicked out. That was good. But yeah, I'm very interested to see how they pull off Galactus. The guy who's voicing him, voice is amazing. You saw Nosferatu, right?
Nosferatu, yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, he was the guy with the glasses that brought Nicholas Hoult character, or not Nicholas Hoult, Craven's character to go see Willem Dafoe. He has this really gravelly voice, and he sounds like Galactus. To be honest, with you.
I don't remember this gentleman at
He's
all.
like, I don't remember that movie.
I
was
don't know that
sleeping.
man.
Now
Sorry,
let's talk about maybe the one negative that I have for this, and we kind of talk about this off camera. Was Silver Surfer, Shala Abal. I don't have any issues with her being the Silver Surfer for this film at all. She is a Silver Surfer in the comics.
Yep.
Who knows? Norman Rad may still be in the movie, and they're just not showing it, and it might be a surprise.
And if you want to stretch it far enough, this is a different universe.
And it's a different universe, so she's first instead of him, and maybe he becomes second. And I think Julia Gardner is a very capable actress to pull this off. I like her a lot. I'll always be a fan of her because of Ozark and also that other show she did on Netflix where she was playing that scammer.
I need to see that. I never seen it.
Anna Delvey, yes, Inventing Anna Delvey. Yeah, that's the name of the show. The accent she put on was hilarious. So I think she's gonna do a great job as the character, but the way the character looks is what the issue I have. It looks. Ugh.
That's funny. I didn't even think about that. That's
Reed approves.
That's hilarious. Oh, also,
I didn't think of that either.
Before we just, how did you?
Stretch? The stretch. It's so quick that I don't really have.
Like he was doing a layup.
Yeah, he does look like he's playing basketball. He looked like he hit that Euro step real quick.
Right.
But it's so quick that I don't really have like a strong opinion on it. I need to see it in full action for more because people took screenshots and even the screenshots are blurry. Yeah. So I'm like,
I think the most interesting thing. I don't want to derail us too far from the point. Yeah. I'm just going to say this. I think the most interesting point about Reed Richards, about Mr. Fantastic, is that at least for me, when I think about Reed Richards, him stretching is literally the last thing I'm concerned about. And it's not because I don't want to see him use his powers. It's that because if you read Fantastic Four and you're enjoying those stories, it's like, yeah, he can stretch, but his power is actually his brain. Like that's what we're here for, right? So if he stretches, cool. When he's fighting, for sure, but it's not something that he's just like using all the time, other than like doing the lab work. So I think that because the stretching, it's not that it doesn't matter to me, but it's just like it's one of those things that's like this is like the 35th thing I think about when I think about Reed Richards. Also, let me just say this before we get back to Julia Garner. This is why I call bullshit on that Miss Marvel thing. Was like, I
was just about to say that. See,
man,
he was reading each other's minds.
Give Miss Marvel her stretching powers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let her embiggen. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Bring her back. Minnie, change who she is. She's a shapeshifter. She's a stretcher. She's all these things. And I bet you she'd be dope if you just change her powers back. Change your powers back. Change your powers back. Light energy powers is trash. You barely use it. Well,
do me a favor, please. Get out of here. Get out of here, man.
What are you doing?
See, look. You trying to stop the black man from expressing his skills. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I'm sorry. I got
you said that like that. Like I got to tell myself. My bad. No, I 100% agree. I was already pissed when they didn't give her embiggen powers because her embiggen powers are stronger than Reed's. She does some shit that Reed can't do. She's more on the Plastic Man side more than Reed's side. That's why I was like, you can have the different. Like she can shapeshift into different people because she can change her molecules and shit. So
see now you're getting into the stretch. So pause. But no, and that was like the other issue I had where people were like, well, you can't have two people with stretchy powers in the MCU. Nigga, there are 3 Iron Men. There are 2 super soldiers. Yeah, there are 2 super soldiers. There are multiple androids. There are multiple spies and assassins. There are several gods. Like, what are we talking about?
There's a lot of humans just shooting guns. Like, there's a lot of shooting. The Thunderbolts is a bunch of humans shooting guns.
Yeah, that's their whole thing. That's their whole thing, right? There's several people with the strength of the Black Panther. You know what I mean? Like it's stripped away. Like several people have this. So I'm like, oh, you can't have two people stretching, nigga. Stop.
Saw a million Deadpools last year. That's for her.
Correct.
There's a lot of Spider-Man. Yeah.
Correct. So,
Nobody's gonna be complaining about that when Miles shows up.
Exactly.
Not even a little bit.
Exactly. So I want to hear it. Give her powers back.
Yeah. And do a mixture. Do it where she can be big in, but she has a light shield or some shit.
No, please leave the light stuff alone.
They're not gonna drop the lights. They want to keep her connected to Captain Marvel and
it's so whack.
Photon.
And it looks whack. Anyway, but yeah. But I love Kamala.
Yeah, gotta work on how it looks.
Kamala is awesome. But yeah.
She's awesome.
Powers.
Yeah. So, but with Silver Surfer, how do you feel about her look?
She looks like an Oscar statue. So I'm like, you all right?
Oh man, that was good because she does.
Yeah, I'm not like. It's not gonna make or break the movie for me, but it might annoy me. You know what I mean? Like I'm so soapbox, dude. I'm so sick and tired of getting on the internet and people having legitimate thoughts and opinions about movies, but people who mean well and want to defend the MCU with their lives acting like, oh, nothing's ever wrong, nothing's bad. Why are you complaining? Like, nigga, because I'm invested. That's why. And I don't just but I'm not the type of person to just complain. I also praise a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it deserves it. Right? But yeah, she doesn't look how I would want a Silver Surfer to look. Does that mean the character's going to be bad? No. Does it mean I can't get invested in the character? No. I'm just saying she don't really even look silver to me. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's just too flat. It's too smooth. There's no definition. Statuesque. Yes, that's a great especially her just standing on the board straight like that with no movement. And it didn't even look like her lips were really moving either. I think that with Silver Surfer there still needs to be some definition.
Yeah.
In the body, because it's not like they lose their body. Their body's in there. It's just grafted onto their skin, so there should still be some texture. So yeah, I was talking about how like maybe the VFX is not done, but you made a great point off camera that Ben Grimm looks great. So most likely this is how the movie's gonna look, and she's just gonna look like that. Hopefully, because like I said, Marvel does do VFX up until the week of. Hopefully they see the complaints about how she looks, and when we get a second trailer, she looks better. They mean like, you know what? Let's fix the design.
Yeah.
For her.
Yeah. I'm not gonna like crash out about it, but
yeah.
Would I like it to look better? Sure. You know what I mean?
Definitely. But yeah, I think that's how.
This would be like me complaining about the breed of dog that Crypto is. It's like, nigga, shut up.
So I had a friend that was complaining about that to me, and I was just like, bro, I do not give two flying fucks.
I already love Crypto, but like, shut up.
Yeah,
cares about breed of dog?
as long as he's a white dog, right? Like,
Right.
I'm not
Exactly.
like if he was a black pit bull, I'm like, all right, guys, this is too much of a departure.
Yeah. If he looked like Bruno, I'd be like, what's happening?
Water.
Bruno would be
Drink it.
represented. Exactly. Drink that water. But yeah.
Facts.
So yeah, man. I think we talked about the things.
We talked about the things. I think we
talked
have
about the things.
two more things we can do, and then we're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah, let's wrap it up. Like protection.
Let's talk about our last four watch.
Yep. So yeah, like I already told you guys, I rewatched Guardians of the Galaxy. Phenomenal film. Love that movie. It actually reminded me of why I love those films, independent of just the MCU. They just all stand alone. And one of the interesting things that the person asked me was like, how does it fit into the MCU? And I'm like, it doesn't fit into the MCU. It fits out. It actually expands the universe, right? It defines what the universe looks like. And I really think that is a great thing that movie does. The music and how the music plays into and defines these characters, and defines the difference of this movie from the rest of the other MCU movies. People say that all the MCU movies are the same. I challenge you to give me Black Panther and Guardians of the Galaxy and tell me those are the same movie. Stop. Need some help.
Definitely
Right?
not.
So, yeah. So yeah. So Guardians of the Galaxy is great. We've all seen most of us, right? Sinners, we just spent an hour and some change talking about, so we don't need to get into it. 5 stars and a positive comment. GT G2 G20. Sorry.
Yeah. I can already see why you gave it 2 stars. Don't even remember the name.
G20, I originally had it like 3 stars. It's now 2.5 because when I started, like, I'll add something to my 2025 list, and sometimes I won't actually rank it until later. And then when I started ranking, I was like, this movie's not as good as this movie, and I don't even like this movie, right? So, yeah, I had to drop it down a little bit. Drop was also a movie I didn't particularly enjoy, but I hear a lot of people enjoy it, so I'm glad y'all had a good time with it. And yeah, so that's my last 4. The only real new ones here are Sinners and Guardians of the Galaxy, which were 2 really great films. So I'm happy.
Yeah,
How about you?
I lucked out. I had 3 new films on my list. I talked about Face Off last week, how great it was. I technically didn't. That's technically not my last 4 watch because Letterboxd is funny. But yeah, I have a review on my channel for The Ugly Stepsister. The Ugly Stepsister. I had a really good time. Obviously, you see, I gave it 4 stars.
Yep.
It is a dark Cinderella story told from the Ugly Stepsister's point of view. And it's also a body horror film set in the a fictional Victorian era. So Cinderella's dad dies, and he was broke, and he lied and said he had money, so it left the family with nothing. So the mother had to figure out how to survive with these girls. You can't work at this time. Women, at least, can't work at this time. So the only thing you can do is marry off your kid to somebody that's rich. So everyone's like, oh, Cinderella. That's the one that's you're going to do. She's the beautiful one. She has long blonde hair. She's skinny. But, Elvira, who's the ugly stepsister, is like, what about me? And the first part of the movie, she's just this innocent, sweet girl who's a little naive, a little jealous of Cinderella. But as people keep putting her down, she gets obsessed with becoming beautiful. So it's similar to The Substance in a way, where it's the dynamics of the world is forcing this person to do things to themselves to be the standard.
Gotcha.
But what the difference between The Substance and this, and why I think this was harder to watch, is because with The Substance, that's gross. It was gross, but it was more fun. It was more fun gross. This is horrifying because the things that she was getting done to herself was what plastic surgery was back then. So when you get a nose job, they take a sizzle and crack your face.
Oh no! Stop! No.
Yeah. When you need to get eyelashes, they literally sew it into your eyelid.
Let me tell you something right now. I don't know if I'm watching this movie. That's a lot.
It's a lot, and our boy Blue Jay is on his way to see it. Hopefully he's. Oh, great heavens! I can hear it in Cece's voice. But other than the body horror aspect, because that's sprinkled throughout until the end where it goes bonkers. It's just a really great story. Like, it takes all the Cinderella stuff happens, but it's from her point of view, and just showing her evolution, going from this naive, fat, but she's not really fat, she's just regular size for like right now, but that's fat for back then. And her trying so hard to get this prince to fall in love with her, and everything she did to herself, to the point where like she took a tapeworm and egg and swallowed it. It's crazy. It's a lot. And I was like, what? So I Googled it and I was like, they used to do that. Women used to do that back in the day so they could stay skinny. It's insane. So yeah, this is a first time director. The production design is really good. The costumes is really good. It is in Norwegian. So if you're not a person that loves reading subtitles.
But who's the first woman to like eat a tapeworm and be like, girl, I lost 15 pounds on this tapeworm. Let me tell you something right now. Get that tapeworm in you, drop like 15 pounds, girl.
Yeah, just keep eating. If that's what she had to keep doing, she had to keep
Is it going to live inside you for 25 years? Yeah, but that's how you do it.
That's how you do it. And when you need to get rid of it, you figure it out.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
so yeah, that was a surprise for me. I got a screener for Ugly Stepsister, and I when I first asked for it, I was like, and I was like, you know what, I'm bored, and I watched it, and I was like, oh shit, this is really good.
Hmm.
And then the ending kind of took it over the top for me, and it became a great film.
Awesome.
The Rule of Jenny Penn. This is another movie that's on Shudder now, but it came out in theaters featuring John Lithgow, and I forgot who the other actor is, but he's a great actor too.
Yeah.
This is also horrifying in a realistic way because the main character is an older guy. He used to be a judge. He used to be independent, and they don't really specify what happened to him while he was in the court, but
Hmm.
something bad happened to him, and he has to go into a home, and he doesn't have any family, and it's kind of the horrors of being growing old and losing yourself, and also being in a home. That alone would have been scary,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
John Lithgow, well, I was gonna say, yeah, to me, he still gives the best performance of the year for me.
Hmm.
He is another person in this home, and he is a terrible person. He is terrorizing all the older people in here, doing terrible things throughout the film, and having the most fun doing. You could tell he had fun doing this movie, but he's legitimately scary. He's scary. There's moments where the main character is sitting in bed, and he's just standing in the doorway staring at him, and then he just walks away. And he's just
Well,
like,
now this sounds like it's up my alley, right? So,
I think you will like it. I don't want to spoil too much of it. I'm not going to spoil too much of it. But all the
mhm,
central performances are really good. The main story, it's a little slow, so I can see
okay.
why some people may not like it. But I was
Mhm.
engaged because usually when you watch horror films, it's usually young people. So you're like, oh, you can run away
Right.
at least. But these are older
Oh.
people with issues that
Hmm.
sometimes they're hearing voices, sometimes they're seeing things, or sometimes they just have a broken hip and they can't run.
Damn. Yeah,
Yeah, and it's
that
all,
was,
but outside of that, it's also about the horrors or the horrors of growing old, losing yourself, and being in a place that's not your home, and how overworked the staff is because they were not staffed to full capacity.
that's crazy.
Yeah, so I highly recommend it. It's on Shutter now. Definitely check it out. And then we talked about Sinners for like you said, like an hour and change. I don't need to talk
Yep.
about that. I gave it 4.5.
Hmm.
Great movie. It's my second favorite movie of the year. I definitely want to rewatch it to see if it climbs past number two. It's a great cultural moment. I haven't felt this
Yeah,
since
it's my
Black
number one
Panther.
movie of the year.
I'm not even mad at you.
Yeah.
I haven't felt something like this about a movie since Black Panther.
Mm.
It's just such a great thing where
Same.
we all coming out.
Yeah.
So yeah, if
I
you
would
haven't
say
seen
for
it
me,
yet, go check it out.
I don't know which one came out first, Black Panther or Get Out. I literally can't
I
remember.
think.
I feel like Get Out
Uh,
was 2016.
oh, well, actually, yeah, Get Out came out first, so maybe Get Out and
Black
then Black
Panther
Panther
was
after that.
2018. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
so
a year
I
apart.
guess, yeah, I would say since Black Panther was the last time I really felt like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, nice. So
Um,
let's answer one last question and let's head out.
all right. Uh,
Uh,
what up, Ace? How are
sup?
wow? What's up, Felt? What's up, man? Thanks for stopping by. I definitely be rewatching Sinners this weekend. I want to so bad.
So
I just
bad.
like you said there was a bunch of stuff coming out. This
There's
week.
The Accountant 2, there's Until
Okay.
Dawn, and
Oh,
the A24 film The Legend of Ochiri, I think it's called.
The Legend of Ochi. Yo,
Yeah, I want to
what
see
is
all
with
those.
this year and every week having like 3 movies?
And not spreading it out.
Yeah,
Like,
like and it's 3 movies I actually want to see. Like it's been
yeah,
like this for a minute. I'm like, yo, y'all got to chill out.
they
I
gotta
didn't
chill
even
out.
realize that
There's
was
also a
going
movie
on.
called On Swift's Horses is also coming out, and I heard good things about that one.
Okay,
It has Will Poulter, again, another movie, Will Poulter, Daisy Edgar Jones, and
is that
Jacob
free for him?
Elordi. Yeah,
Okay,
Warfare,
Unicorn, definitely Unicorn.
Unicorn, and Nunness. In a
Okay,
matter of like a month.
right. It's crazy.
That's crazy. But yeah, so 4 movies are coming out this weekend. For some reason, my theater does not have Until Dawn on Friday. I don't know what the hell is going on, but I want to see that because I'm
What up,
interested.
Chase? What's going on, bro? Good to see you, man.
Good to see you.
Chase used to edit some of my shorts and things of that nature back in the day when I
Nice.
started. Yeah.
Well, guys, this was really,
yeah.
really fun. I had a great time talking about Sinners and everything we talked about here. This was one of the best weekends of entertainment that I have. We also talked about how we watched WrestleMania and we had an amazing time doing that. And Last of Us also came out as well, and that was all fun. So, yeah, I hope you guys had a great weekend as well. Hope to see you next week. And Kenny, what do you have coming out in the near future?
As far as reviews are concerned, I'm currently working on my Warfare review because I should still get that out. It's much later than I would have liked to have been, but writer's block and what have you. And honestly, I don't know from this weekend. You said The Accountant 2, Legend of Ochi, and
Until
Dawn. One of those movies are going to have to be really good for me to actually want to talk about it, right? So I kind of feel like I'm less inspired to be excited about those movies. They could be good, but they just kind of feel like, So, but I do want to go see them. I just don't know, and maybe it's a good thing, honestly, because a lot of these types of movies are the movies that are easier to edit, and easier to create and edit. So, one of those three movies I'll probably have a review for. I'm not entirely sure which one.
Red alert. CC is doing an Amelia Perez reaction tomorrow.
Snap.
I'm excited for that.
Let's go. Oh my god.
Because your Substance reaction.
I'll be watching it with CC.
The Wicked reaction. And I forgot what was the one before. I think there was one in between Substance and Wicked. It's the Smile 2 reaction. All great. Had a great time. If you want to see really fun reactions to movies, definitely check out CC. Out of those 4 movies, I know I'm seeing 2. Accountant 2 is definitely one because I really liked the first Accountant, so I do want to see the second one.
Yeah.
And I want to see Until Dawn because I like the concept. I like the actors in it. It sounds really interesting. I do want to see The Legend of, what is it called? The Legend of Ochi, because I heard it was really good from a movie tuber that I trust. But I just don't think I'm going to get a chance to go see. I might have to wait till it gets to PVOD.
I had no idea those 3 movies were coming out this weekend, so I had to do some planning.
When I started looking at my coming soon on my Regal app, I was like, what? I was like, Until Dawn.
There's no major event this weekend either, right? It's just movies. Thank God.
Just movies. Yeah. Thank God. So cool. This is great, guys. Come next week to check out episode 9 of Film Club. We'll let you guys know on Sunday what we're going to be talking about. And we'll see you next time.
Peace.